The humble egg. For decades, it's been at the center of a huge debate, happening right on our breakfast plates. It's one of the most common, affordable, and versatile foods on the entire planet. But the simple egg has a surprisingly complicated story. Okay, let's get into it and unscramble the science. So, what's the real story here? Is the egg a nutritional hero, just packed with everything we need to start our day? Or is it a villain in disguise, secretly a ticking time bomb for our health? This question has confused pretty much everyone, with headlines swinging from one extreme to the other for years.
To really understand where we are today, you have to look at the egg's incredible comeback story. For a long time, it was basically public enemy number one in the nutrition world. But then, things started to change. The science started to shift.
And wow, what a comeback it was. Just look at this. A single egg is an absolute nutritional powerhouse. We're talking 6 grams of high-quality protein, which is essential for building muscle, 5 grams of healthy fats, and just a ton of critical vitamins and minerals, like choline for your brain and vitamin D for your bones. It's a crazy amount of nutrition packed into one tiny 77-calorie package. Now, this timeline really shows you how the official thinking did a complete 180. Back in 1968, the American Heart Association put a really strict limit on eggs, fewer than 3 a week, all because of cholesterol fears. But then, by the year 2000, that changed to 1 egg a day. And now, fast forward to the latest guidelines, and there's no mention of a dietary cholesterol limit at all. That is a massive, massive shift.
And this quote right here, it just drives the point home. The American Egg Board points out that leaving dietary cholesterol out of the new guidelines, that wasn't an accident. It was a deliberate move. The old villain was, officially, off the hook.
So, with that whole cholesterol myth pretty much busted, the case for eating eggs every day started looking stronger than ever. Let's dig into the evidence that actually supports making them a daily staple.
Okay, the benefits are pretty compelling. The protein in eggs helps you feel full, right? Which is fantastic for managing weight. They're an amazing source of choline for your brain, and they even have powerful antioxidants that help protect your eyes. And this isn't just theory. A huge study in China, we're talking nearly 500,000 people, found that eating up to 1 egg per day was actually linked to a lower risk of heart disease.
So you've got the American Heart Association, the very same group that once warned us away from eggs, now giving the green light for 1 a day as part of a healthy diet. So, case closed, right? The egg is a hero. Well, not so fast.
Just when we thought it was safe to get back in the kitchen and crack a few eggs, new research came out that basically scrambled everything all over again.
And here it is. This is the plot twist in our story. All of a sudden, the headlines flipped again, bringing back all those old fears, but this time with some really startling new data.
And this right here, this is the heart of all the confusion laid out side by side. On the left, you have the official guideline from the AHA saying, yep, 1 egg a day is fine. But on the right, you have a massive study of over 500,000 people with a totally shocking conclusion. Each additional half an egg per day was linked to a 7% higher risk of dying from any cause. So how can both of these things be true?
This chart just visualizes those stark findings. A 7% increased risk for all-cause mortality, a 7% increased risk for cardiovascular mortality, and another 7% for cancer mortality. And that's all linked to just an extra half an egg per day. These are not small numbers, and they come from a really big, credible U.S. study.
Okay, so at this point, you're probably thinking, what is going on here? Is science just broken? How can one major study in China find that eggs reduce risk, while another huge study in the US finds they increase it? It seems to make no sense. And you know what? That's a fantastic question.
So let's solve this mystery. Because the answer, it turns out, isn't really about the egg itself. It's about something much, much bigger. It's all about context.
This table gets right to the heart of it. In the U.S. study where eggs were linked to a higher risk, what do people typically eat with their eggs? You got it. Bacon, sausage, buttered white toast, a lot of processed foods. Now look at the Asian studies where eggs were linked to lower or even neutral risk. What were the common pairings there? Vegetables and rice. The light bulb moment is realizing it's about the whole dietary pattern, not just the one food.
Scientists have a name for this. It's called residual confounding. It just means it's incredibly hard to isolate the health effect of one single food when it's almost always eaten as part of a bigger meal and a wider lifestyle. You just can't easily separate the egg from the bacon it's fried with.
Okay, so let's bring this all together.
let's figure out what this final verdict actually means for what you should put on your plate tomorrow morning.
And this quote from dietitian Jessica Kelly just sums it up perfectly. She says, the trick here is context. An egg served with avocado and whole grain toast is a completely different meal, nutritionally speaking, than an egg fried in butter with bacon and white toast. See? The egg isn't the problem, it's the company it keeps.
So it really boils down to a pretty simple three-step approach. First, just take a look at the big picture of your diet. Second, think about your own personal health situation. And third, and this is the most important step, when you do eat eggs, just choose healthier partners for them. Swap out the processed meats for things like vegetables, avocado, and whole grains.
And that brings us to the real takeaway from this entire decades-long debate. It's time to stop worrying so much about one single food. The evidence, when you look at all of it, overwhelmingly shows that what matters most is the overall quality and pattern of your entire diet.
So maybe the final question we should be asking ourselves isn't how many eggs can I eat? Perhaps the better question is, how can I make the eggs I do eat really count by surrounding them with all the healthy foods that we already know lead to a long and healthy life?